Welcome to Imprint, a podcast about creating a home and life you love. I'm Natalie Walton, an interior designer, stylist, and best-selling author focused on an holistic approach to homes. Each week, I'm sharing insights and interviews about the creative process to help you enhance both your interiors and well-being, as well as provide you with the tools and resources to make considered and sustainable choices with all that you create. Hello everyone, welcome to Imprint. I am really looking forward to today's conversation with you because it's been one of those aha moments for me that has really helped me look at my activities in a whole new light. And I trust that it's going to be really valuable for you too. Because the truth is that not focusing on one thing at a time and constantly chopping and changing direction, it is costing you. It is costing you your time, it's costing you your energy, and ultimately where you want to be. That kind of ultimate success, the vision that you have for your business, for your life, for what you want to achieve, in these days and these years that we have in front of us. Because when you jump from one idea to another and one strategy to another, what's happening is you're not giving anything enough time to grow, evolve, and truly succeed. So how do you break the cycle and stay focused? In this episode with you, I'm going to share why sticking to one idea is the key to real momentum and results. And you'll learn why constantly shifting direction is holding you back and how just 7 days of true focus can completely change the trajectory of your creative projects or business. So if you feel stuck, maybe you feel scattered, like you're going all over the place or unsure why you're not seeing the success that you want, then I trust that you're going to find this really valuable. So maybe for you, and I know that this comes up a lot when I'm talking to people in my programs and, just friends and people in the business world that I know of, and we speak and we talk about different things, is what can easily happen is that there is so much noise out there. And look, I am, just as guilty of this as anyone else, in the sense that, I love listening to audiobooks. I love listening to podcasts. And interestingly, since the start of the new year, I have actually sort of gone on a self-imposed pause of listening to other podcasts and audiobooks. I really feel like at the moment, I am really clear on what I want to achieve in my business, in my personal life, with my family, my personal goals. And I have got such clarity on that. And I just don't want to cloud it right now. And I know that it's so easy when you're listening to lots of different podcasts and lots of different ideas, and you're watching, following people on Instagram who've got all these ideas and strategies, and you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And, it's so easy to be pulled and think, oh, yes, I need to do that thing. And, oh, why aren't we doing that? And what, where are we at with this? And when you keep seeing and kind of having all these like danger signs every which way that you go, sometimes what ends up happening is that we freeze and we actually either completely stop or we just keep kind of running around in circles because we start to run towards one sort of sign and say, oh, yeah, okay, I've got to fix that. I've got to fix that thing. And then we're running to this other direction and this other direction. And what ends up happening is that we don't actually end up getting anywhere of any real significance. And so it's actually been a real blessing to just take this pause for this past month. I sort of did it towards the end of 2024 as my children were on school holidays. They're currently still on school holidays. And so I've really taken this extended break. We went away and did some traveling, and that was wonderful and so much fun, and camping. And I completely shut off from everything during that period. But since coming back, I really have wanted to hold on to this feeling of feeling really centered and calm and clear within myself about what I want to do and what I want to achieve. And so, like I said, I have really been conscious of, not getting distracted by too many different things. And also, my husband has started doing this program to learn more about a particular area of our business that we're focusing on right now. And he was watching this training, and within this training, this person was saying this idea, and it really resonated with me. And it is this idea that when it comes to what we should do with our goals and the things that we want to achieve in our business and in our life, and what ends up happening is that there are many ways to do something. You think about in terms of, say, achieving a health goal. There are many ways to achieve a health goal. You might get a personal trainer, you might join a gym, you might do it yourself, you might, engage the services of somebody who looks at your bloods and, all of these different things. There are many ways to get to where you want to go. And what can end up happening is that when we keep chopping and changing direction and we don't commit to just one idea, one strategy, and see that thing through, then we don't get to reap the results. And it is that chopping and changing that is actually causing us to, in inverted commas, fail. It is the thing that is holding us back. It is the thing that is stopping us from getting where we want to go. So I really want you to think about, when you are looking at what you're trying to achieve, maybe you are listening to all the podcasts and you're enrolled in several programs and you're maybe even getting coached. And you might be thinking, well, why aren't you where you want to be? You're taking action, and you know that taking action is really, really important. Well, like I said, I would really encourage you to think that perhaps the biggest challenge that you face is not having strategies. It is that you are trying to implement many at once. And like I said, it is so tempting to get excited about fresh possibilities. And when you suddenly discover somebody on Instagram who's offering business advice, or you start listening to a new podcast, or you pick up a new book and you kind of get excited. Yeah, like, yes, this could be it. This could be the thing that's going to solve all my problems. And it kind of gives you this energy and you're excited about the outcome. What can happen though is that we can then start to fear failure. And we can, we get that initial excitement, but then we sort of, as it requires us to actually start to do the work and implement the ideas, that's when we can start to think like, oh, I actually really need to, confront some things that, this is going to be maybe hard, or maybe I'm going to have to really just put my head down. And maybe sometimes that can even feel boring. But it is often the boring work that actually helps us get the results. It is putting our head down and staying focused rather than, getting in the busy work of doing something. I talk about this idea with my amazing women within Design and Grow, this idea of results-based work, and productive work versus, busy work. That it is so easy to be busy in our businesses and feel like we are getting somewhere or feel like we're doing something, but we're not actually achieving a result. We're not actually producing anything. We can't say at the end of that hour, what did you produce? What was the result that you achieved? Instead, you were kind of, in some ways just shuffling papers. You were maybe busy in your inbox, or you were in inverted commas researching, or you were in inverted commas learning. And look, I don't have anything against learning. I mean, I love learning, but it is so important that we implement as well, that we don't just learn, but that we actually implement and we do the boring work. And like I said, sometimes it is that fear of failure, that fear of putting ourselves out there, that it causes us to jump to that next thing, to think like, oh, actually, maybe this could be the thing that's going to solve my problem. Another thing that we need to be mindful of as well is the impact of external influences. So, when we see other people's success stories on social media, it can make us feel pressure to pivot, because they might be sharing that hey, this thing really worked for me. And, and particularly if they're a coach or and then their sort of online marketing world, hey, this got great results for my clients. And, there can be this huge sense of that, like, oh, they must be doing the right thing. And what I'm doing right now is maybe it's not the right thing for me. And so it can encourage us or, sort of entice us to move to a different strategy than the one that we're currently working on, which could very well be the thing that actually is going to get us results. Because in all honesty, and not enough people say this, but it is the absolute truth. When it comes to, say, business or growing your interiors business or, your creative business, when it comes to getting a result, there are different ideas and strategies out there. And there is not just one that is the be all and the end all, and this is the thing that's going to solve every single problem. But what you need to do is you need to choose one person or one strategy and implement that all the way through to get the results and really stick to that thing. And I would actually encourage you to stick to that thing for 90 days. 90 days, you're going to start to see some results when you really stick to it. You really focus on that thing. Because when you keep, like I say, you keep chopping and changing direction and think, oh, maybe this program or maybe this idea or this strategy is going to help me. It is that chopping and changing that is actually holding you back. And so I know for myself, that this has been true with some areas of my life and my business. And I would really encourage you to think about, how often have you abandoned something just before it had the chance to grow? I know that when I look at many businesses, generally you've got to be in business for about 10 years to really start to see results. That sort of 7 to 10 year period is when you really start to see the fruits of your labor. Now, that's not to say that, you can't have success before then, but in general, the type of success where the business starts to become less reliant on you, you start to enjoy that financial freedom, that time freedom that many of us are, really looking for in terms of the type of work that we do. Anyone who tells you that it happens before that, they have either just completely sacrificed their social life, their family life, their health, their happiness to get to that point, because basically they just work double the amount of what everyone else is doing. And so, yes, they can maybe condense that 7 years into 3.5 years, but at what cost? And look, maybe you're not in a relationship or you don't have a family and you think, no, I just want to put my head down and I'm going to give it 3 to 4 years and I'm just going to work like crazy to make it happen. And if that's what feels good for you, great. But I know many of you who listen have families and want to live and create a business that's more in alignment. And so we need to be realistic about what it takes. Now, that's not to say that, we can't, have a business that's earning us an income and doing well along that journey. I mean, I've certainly had that. My business has continued to grow along my journey and it's continued to support my family at every single step of the way. But as it grows and evolves, it's getting better and better, and I can have more and more freedom within that business. So, really think about what type of business that you want to create for yourself, because that is another piece of the puzzle. It is so easy to get distracted with other people's version of success. So what does success look like for you? Really reflect on that. What is important to you in terms of the type of business that you want to create? And you really need to consider as well the hidden costs of chopping and changing direction. There is the time and energy that can be wasted on constantly starting over. Every time, and I hear this so often, oh, I've actually got this new business idea and I'm not going to keep going with that one. I'm going to do this new business idea because I need to get money in now. And we think that this new business idea is going to be, like the key to success. And that's going to be the thing that like brings all this money in. But what happens is every time we start over, we have to invest a huge amount of time to, build that business up to its base foundations. Think about the financial resources that are drained from pursuing multiple directions, and that emotional toll as well. It can cause frustration, we can start to feel overwhelmed and sometimes even a sense of failure. Why isn't this working? I thought this was going to be, the magic bullet. It was going to be the panacea to all my problems. And it really does have a ripple effect. It can start to confuse your audience, your clients, or your customers if you keep chopping and changing direction. And it can really lead to missed opportunities to build that momentum and trust. And trust is one of the most valuable assets that you can have in your business in terms of, nurturing potential customers or clients and really getting to that point where you become known for something. And that is such a huge asset for your business, to become known in your industry, in your area of expertise, as the go-to person for a particular product or service. But when we keep chopping and changing directions, then we're less likely to get those recommendations because people think, oh, she was doing that, but I'm not quite sure she's still doing that. Whereas just for example, with my program, the Styling Masterclass, I'm now coming into the 7th year of running this program. 7 years. I have got so much built in trust, and, I've got pages and pages of testimonials and reviews. People know me for that program. That is the program that I'm most known for. And you just can't build that up overnight. That is the thing that does take time to become known for one thing. And I really encourage you to think about what can you become known for, rather than people, chopping and changing direction in terms of like not sure what it is that you do. How can you build up that trust and that momentum within your business? So the next part of this equation is to really stick to one idea. And it's so important to know that the real growth in your business and with any goal that you set comes from persistence and iteration. Because every single time that we do something, we learn more information, we get more data. And with that information and with that data and with the nuance that we learn from our customers and our clients and the audience, with each iteration, we can improve upon what we have created. Whereas when we keep chopping and changing direction, what happens is that, we have to start all over again in terms of gathering that data. And so you think about yourself. Let's just take the example of maybe you are offering interior design services, and maybe you started out and you had a shop, and then, you sort of thought, oh, no, I want to do interior design. And so what happens is you take somebody else who's already been on that journey. They have been iterating along the way. So they have learned, oh, when I'm onboarding a new client, I really need to have a pricing and services guide, because I'm finding that I'm getting people to this next step, but then they're pulling out. And so I need to filter my clients earlier on in the process before I start investing too much of my own time into the equation. And so maybe that person then creates a pricing and services guide. And then they send that out a few times and they realize, actually, there's a better way to do this, or I'm going to update this because I've learned this about the questions that I'm getting. So they update that and they iterate on that, and they keep improving each of these steps along the journey. They're improving, they're iterating, and they're getting better and better results. Whereas somebody else who, 1 minute they're doing consults, the next minute they're running a shop, they're doing lots of different things, they're not making that same progress. And so it is when we can be persistent with a particular idea, do the, in inverted commas, the boring work that will actually get us results of, like, I'm going to finish this thing, I'm going to put it out, I'm going to see what kind of feedback I get from this particular thing, and then I'm going to iterate and improve. That is when we actually start to make progress in our business. And so it's so important to really have a core focus in your business. Stick to one idea that allows you to refine, evolve, and improve over time. And like I said, I know that this has happened with me within the Styling Masterclass. I have learnt over the course of this 6 to 7 year journey, I have learnt more about who is the person who is best suited for this program. I've been able to improve my messaging. I've been able to improve the results that I can get for people. I've been able to refine the program. I got questions about, people wanting to learn more about photography. So I've included that in the program. Over the course of the years, I have been able to add and refine and iterate and learn more and more about the person who this program is best suited for. And so with each iteration, it is getting better, and the results that, my students are getting are better and better. And also the results that I get as a result are getting better and better. So I want you to really think about, what could you achieve if you gave yourself permission to focus on one thing for, even if it was for a short dedicated period. Now, I would really encourage you to give it at least 90 days. I love working in 90 days. 90 days is really when you're going to start to see true results for something. But even if you give yourself 7 days, 7 days of really consistent focus towards a very specific goal. And so that is my challenge for you, is to really commit to one idea or project for at least the next 7 days without distraction, without, and maybe it is without listening to podcasts, or without, turning your social media off and not getting distracted by all the things that are out there, and really focusing on this project for the next 7 days. Now, as you will know, it doesn't need to be perfect, but you just need to stay the course. And I would really encourage you as well to do that task first. There is the idea of eat the frog. I think it was Mark Twain who said it. Do the hard thing first. When we do things like our inbox and do, different tasks that are the kind of the easy things first, then it's very easy to get stuck in those, and that we don't actually do the thing that we actually really need to focus on. So do that task first, time block, set aside at least 2 hours so you can get into deep work with that, so you can really start to really channel where you need to focus, turn off all of your notifications, and really create a focused work environment around yourself so that you're not getting distracted by it. And really, celebrate the small wins so that you can maintain the motivation. So if you've got a team, maybe it's sharing with your team in Slack. If you are a solo worker, maybe you can share with a family member or a friend, keeping each other accountable. Maybe you can partner with somebody. If you're in, for those of you who are in Design and Grow, you could do this within your accountability pods, or maybe you've got a business buddy or a friend that you could say, okay, for the next 7 days, I'm going to really focus on getting this specific result. Because like I said, we want to really get results in our business. We don't just want to, be busy in our business. And as always, we need to recognize and really know and understand that progress over time will actually yield better results than just instant results. It's really this idea of that if you are trying to grow something in your garden, if you keep uprooting it, it is going to really struggle to grow. Instead, we need to give anything that we are growing, we need to give it the care, the time, the attention, the water, the nutrients, so that it can actually start to grow and bear fruit. And think of your business and anything that you want to achieve as that plant, as that flower, as that tree in your garden that you need to nurture. You need to give it love and attention and care so that it can start to bear fruit. And the same is true of any goal that you have in your business or your life. You need to nurture it. You can't keep chopping and changing direction with it. You can't keep uprooting it, because ultimately it will wither and die, and you will start to feel really frustrated as well. So, like I said, I really want to encourage you to think that for you, if you find like you keep switching and chopping and changing direction and thinking that this this next shiny object is going to be the key to all of your success. I would really encourage you to pause and look at the goals that you've already set for yourself for this year and really just put your head down. Put your head down and focus on what you already know and what you know to be true about your business. And deep down, we all know what is going to yield the best results. And we just need to focus on that and doing the work to achieve what that is. So whatever it is, really stay focused. And like I said, as always, I love to hear from you, to hear how you're progressing. So you can send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know, what is your challenge? What is the thing that you're going to focus on for the next 7 days? Even better if you can make it 90 days. But we need to stay focused if we want to achieve success. And for those of you who may have signed up for the Styling Masterclass or one of my other programs, I really encourage you to really focus on that strategy. Everything that I share with you, it works. So avoid getting distracted with all the other shiny objects out there. You've made a commitment to this one thing. See it through. Whatever you've chosen to focus on, see it through, and that will yield you the results. Promise you, it works. It truly, truly works. All right. Thank you for listening today. I hope that you found this episode valuable. As always, if you have, please share it with a friend who you think might find it valuable too. You can leave a quick review. I always appreciate and read every single one. Love hearing from you. It's basically how I can hear and know if I'm on the right track, really helping you and speaking to what you are struggling with or where you want to be and helping you with the lessons that I've learned on my journey. So as I said, this is something that I have found really valuable on my own journey, and I hope that it helps you. Until next week, have a beautiful week.
All of the links and info for this episode are at nataliewalton.com/podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can get a direct download of the latest episode. And I really appreciate when you take a minute to rate and review, as well as share the love with someone you know who might benefit from this episode, or on social media. If you'd like to access a range of free resources, come visit my website, nataliewalton.com. Thank you to Jaeger Media for producing this podcast. And I would also like to acknowledge the people of the Bundjalung Nation where it was recorded, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I look forward to connecting again soon. I'm Natalie Walton, and you've been listening to Imprint.